for his 100th and 101st career games. Over the 2 days, he combined for a jaw-dropping 55 points, 41 rebounds, 7 assists, and 6 blocks. Opposite him, VP trophy. Refusing to be outshone by his young counterpart, Jokić delivered a staggering 87 points, 27 rebounds, 19 assists, and 4 steals in back-to-back games against the favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year. These games had it all. 2 of the league's finest players, dazzling highlights, and nail-biting finishes. This wasn't just a pair of regular season basketball games. It was a masterclass in basketball. Let's dive into every incredible detail. These back-to-back games mark the first matchups of the 2024-25 season, leading a clutch Spurs win that featured a jaw-dropping 17-point burst in just 3 minutes. That loss was pivotal for Denver, dropping the Nuggets into a 3-way tie for the top seed.
9th in the league in scoring, 4th in rebounding, 3rd in assists.
Aaron Gordon, Denver's defensive anchor and frequent recipient of Jokic's signature alley-oops, is set to miss another 5 games with a right calf strain, the same injury that sidelined him, and inconsistent performances from key players. Jokić has been asked to shoulder an even greater. Jokic's season averages are staggering: 30 points, 13 rebounds, and 9.7 assists per game, placing him in the league's top 3 in each category. To compensate for the Nuggets' shooting struggles, he's launching a career-high 4.6 three-point attempts per game and connecting at an absurd. The San Antonio Spurs entered the season with a lot more positive vibes. They added a steady veteran presence in Harrison Barnes and brought in the headmaster of the School of Winning in the NBA, the point god himself, Chris Paul. The Spurs' future has never looked brighter, thanks in large part to Victor Wembanyama. Heading into his 100th career game and his 21st birthday, Wemby is putting up phenomenal numbers: 25.6 points, 10 rebounds, 3.9 assists, and a league-leading 3.9 blocks per game. He's also shooting 35% on 9.4 three-point attempts per game, a volume that places him in the league's top 15 in attempts. Wemby capped off a historic December by dismantling the Clippers on New Year's Eve. The Spurs, now 17-16 and in a 3-way tie for the 8th seed, rolled into Denver for their first game of 2025. With Gordon out, Jokić had to take his feet on the perimeter. Jokić and Jamal Murray gave up an easy screen, allowing Wemby to take Murray in the post and shoot over him effortlessly. Wemby grabbed the board, called for a quick screen from Stephon Castle in semi-transition, and used Denver's miscommunication to get Castle a bucket on a slip. Devin Vassell got a steal in transition and capped off a quick defense-to-offense sequence with an oop to Wemby over Westbrook's helpless contest. Denver took only 5 seconds to respond, with a transition layup for Jokić finally getting him on the board. Then Jokić executed a straightforward old man post-up against Wemby, making it look easy against a favorite to win the Defensive Player of the Year award. Wemby answered right back with a spin move and floater and one, forcing Jokić to defend from the outside in. Wemby was too late to contest Jokić, leaving an open 3 from the top for the league lead, forcing Jokić to work. Zach Collins scored with a hook over Joker, and Julian Champagny cut across the middle for a bucket, with Jokić too slow to rotate and contest. But Jokić responded in the paint himself. Zach Collins was just too, but missing easy layups and open threes.
He's going to take a 3. No, he's in on Chris Paul, sidesteps, and the ball was blocked.
He was also targeted on defense without the safety net of Aaron Gordon behind him. Denver went on a mini run, with 5 rebounds in the first 4.5 minutes before Jokić checked back in. Wemby added a couple of perimeter swishes for good measure, spearheading a 9-0 San Antonio run. When he wasn't pulling up for deep threes after rebounds, Wemby took the ball up the floor himself and initiated a beautiful passing sequence that ended in an easy layup. Jokić didn't start his second quarter stint much better, clanking another 3 short over Wemby. However, he forced Wemby into early foul trouble, drawing his second and third personal fouls before halftime. Jokić capitalized on the smaller Spurs with Wemby off the floor, going 1 of 2 from the field but aggressively earning 4 free throws. Another miscommunication by the Nuggets on a screen and re-screen from Wemby led to a thunderous dunk duel in the third quarter with a stylish one-handed catch and finish with Wemby right on his back. He then used a nifty pump fake to get Wemby out of the way, clanked an easy layup, but managed to grab his own miss and score. Wemby responded with another banker, abusing yet another guard switched onto him unnecessarily. For 5 minutes in the third quarter, it was a shootout. Denver scored on 9 consecutive possessions, turning a 60-52 halftime deficit into an 81-77 lead. The Spurs hit 3 in a row, and Denver responded with 2 straight, combining for 15 points in just 67 seconds. Wemby picked up his 4th foul, a 3-shot foul, nailing a patented Sombor shuffle, and driving for a layup with a pump fake. Devin Vassell and Julian Champagnie kept the Spurs within striking distance with timely buckets. The rest of the quarter turned into an exchange of long bombs and blown layups. Denver entered the 4th quarter up by 3, 90-87, facing a 4-game drought without Jokić, but Wemby picked up his 5th foul with 8:46 left. He shrugged it off and hit 2 deep 3-pointers to give San Antonio a 97-92 lead. As crunch time began, the Spurs kept aggressively targeting Jokić on switches. Jokić responded with a give-and-go to Westbrook, capitalizing on San Antonio's miscommunication. The Spurs exploited another easy switch, putting Wemby in the mid-post against Christian Braun. Wemby drained a mid-range pull-up to tie the game at 103 apiece.
Now Wemby against Christian Braun pulls up. Oh, and he nails it.
San Antonio doubled Jokić as he pushed toward the basket. Chris Paul rotated to cover Westbrook cutting into the lane, leaving Christian Braun open in the corner. A red Jokić capitalized on perfectly. Jokić followed that with a pass to a cutting Michael Porter Jr., who dunked over Wemby to put Denver up by 5 with 2.5 to go. After a Julian Champagnie 3 and a blown layup by Murray, Wemby drew 3 Denver defenders with a fake shot, then passed to a cutting Keldon Johnson for an and-one layup to put the Spurs ahead by 1. Jokić answered with a high hook shot. After empty possessions on both ends, Jokić worked in the post against Wemby at the free throw line. When the double came, Jokić faked a Sombor shuffle, passed out to MPJ, but Wemby got a fingertip on the ball, redirecting it to Devin Vassell for a transition dunk. Wembanyama showcased his own brilliance with a clutch defensive play and a 35-point, 18-rebound double-double.
There it is. Wemby over the top. That's good too. Timeout, Denver.
The duel marked the first time opponents recorded this year than last year, and I think he's going to get even better, Jokić said of Wembanyama. Close loss defined their back-to-back series against the Spurs. Wings and guards worked together to make Wemby's every move uncomfortable. The first quarter felt like an extension of the previous night, with the Spurs thriving in a chaotic, fast-paced transition game that played to their youth and energy. Despite this, Wemby found himself in early foul trouble, picking up 2 fouls in the opening 4 minutes. With Wembanyama sidelined, Jokić took full advantage, setting the tone early with 13 points in the quarter. Julian Champagnie, still riding his hot shooting from the first game, hit 2 early corner triples to keep the Spurs competitive. A strong closing stretch in the quarter helped San Antonio trim the Nuggets' lead to just 3, 30-27, to start control, with their bench bringing energy and turning a small deficit into a lead. However, the Spurs missed opportunities to extend the gap with unforced turnovers. Still, Devin Vassell electrified the home crowd with 2 thunderous dunks, sending San Antonio into halftime with a narrow 55-54 advantage. The Spurs opened the second half with a 3-point barrage, scoring 12 of their first 14 points from deep. Harrison Barnes sank 3 triples, and Vassell added a relentless pace and rim attacks, while Jokić did everything he could to keep the Nuggets within reach. Entering the fourth quarter, the Spurs held an 11-point edge, 92-81. Denver stormed back in the final quarter, led by Michael Porter Jr. The Nuggets reserves won the non-Jokić starters back. A massive 3-pointer from Russell Westbrook briefly gave Denver the lead, but Devin Vassell's putback layup sent the game to overtime.
Vassell keeps it, hangs, and puts it in!
Flurry of clutch plays. An and-one off a Peyton Watson entry pass, a fadeaway jumper over Wemby, a tip-in layup after stripping Wemby for his 44th point, and finally, a 20 points and a career-high 23 rebounds, was held scoreless in overtime and couldn't grab an explosion in the third quarter. The Spurs' youth and fatigue became evident on the second night of the back-to-back, as they managed just 19 points in the fourth quarter and overtime combined. And against Nikola Jokić, that simply wasn't enough. The reigning MVP delivered a masterful 46-point performance, adding 9 rebounds and 10 assists, while getting just enough support from his Nuggets teammates to secure the win. The 2-game series was a dazzling display of basketball at its finest. All sorts of buckets from the dueling super talents,